Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic of the environment related issues in environmental chemistry. This is the last lecture of this Roots 2020 Foundation program. And today's lecture, actually, we are going to learn about the various harmful effects on the environment and why we have to know about the environmental issues like the global warming, climate change, various natural disasters, and also there are various man-made disasters. So let's start. From today's lecture, we are going to learn about our atmosphere, and there are various components of the atmosphere with their percentage, their and the most important harmful effects of ozone layer depletion, and there are various harmful gases also. And finally, we have to understand what is the meaning of green chemistry, why we should adopt the green chemistry. So let's start with the atmosphere part. There are four components of the earth system. I think you all know about this. That is the atmosphere and biosphere, lithosphere, and there is another one is the hydrosphere. Atmosphere, these terms relates to the air and the all the this air related problems are we also discuss in the atmosphere part. There are various layers. The first one is the troposphere, then stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere. Here you can see it starts from the earth surface zero, that means the earth surface where we are living. So this is the first stage. This is the surface of the earth, and then it's consists up to it continues up to 10 kilometer from the earth surface, and then from 10 to 50 the layer is called stratosphere, then 50 to about 85 the mesosphere, then thermosphere, and there is another that is ionosphere, but we no need to understand all these. But the most important part is the troposphere and stratosphere. In troposphere, all the climate changes happen here. The rainfall, snowfall, all these are the main effect. And in stratosphere, the flights, all these here starts here. And in stratosphere, from 15 to 20, here from here there is 15 to 20. In this region there is a layer that is called the ozone layer. This ozone layer protect us, means the human being and also all the living beings, from the harmful ultraviolet radiation coming from the sun. And most of the cases here we can say that there are various harmful gases like chlorofluorocarbon. Mainly these are responsible for the for decreasing the concentration of ozone layer, and this is called the ozone layer depletion. And here you can see the temperature varies greatly with altitude, and the profile makes a Z shape from the mesosphere to the ground. Now there is the pressure related issues in atmosphere. Pressure is the highest at the surface and decreases with the height. And the here you can see the fluctuation in pressure are driving force of weather. There are very pressure. Here you can see from the graph that the pressure is highest at the surface. Surface means at the zero, and it decreases with the height. It decreases with the altitude. When the altitude is here, from that the pressure decreases. This is the now the radiation. The atmosphere is the first line of the defense against radiation from the sun. Sun is the solar energy, and it is the main source of energy to the human being. As we know that the for photosynthesis also the solar light is very much important. It acts as the catalyst for the photosynthesis reaction, and after that the energy flows from The producer, that means to the from the trees, the green plants, to all the living beings, and the energy flows in one direction. And we know that energy cannot be created and cannot be destroyed, so it flows from one form to another. And also we have studied the various layers. And now what are the composition of the various gases in our atmosphere? We know that the nitrogen is about 78%, oxygen 21 or 20 to 20 to 21%, and carbon dioxide is 0.04%. And with the increase of carbon dioxide, it can cause a various effects on the environment, like as we know that due to deforestation, the concentration of carbon dioxide is also increasing, and it can cause global warming. Now the term global, what do you mean by the term global warming? Global warming means the average increase of temperature in the earth system, and that is called the global warming. And various gases are responsible for global warming. The main gas that is responsible for global warming is the carbon dioxide, and also various gases like water vapor and methane. These are main responsible for global warming. And there are we can say that very much oxygen is needed to decrease the global warming issues. So sun is the main source of global, some main source for the solar energy and the food energy and supply food chain. Then photochemistry actually it is the combination of photo dissociation and also photoionization. Oxygen is the upper atmosphere absorbs much of the solar radiation, and before it reaches to the lower atmosphere, actually it can split into two. As we can say that the electron is divided into two atoms, so that is the reason here we can see ionization is not occurred, means ion is not forming here, only radicals are forming. That's why this reaction is called the homolytic reaction, homolytic bond cleavage. From here you can see this is the structure of ozone. In oxygen the formula is O2, but in case of ozone it is the O3. And the oxygen is the linear molecule, but ozone is not a linear. This is in the band shape, and it absorbs much of the radiation between 240 to 310 nanometer range. And it forms the reaction of the molecule oxygen and the oxygen atom produced in the upper atmosphere by photodissociation. Here you can see in the last slide that the photodissociation of oxygen molecule can form oxygen atom. Now it combines with another molecule of oxygen molecule and forming ultimately O3. So this is the formation of ozone. And now what is the problem associated with ozone? Actually ozone is very much useful and very much important at the stratosphere level. It is it can, as I already said, that ozone absorbs the energy, and it can cause the harmful ultraviolet radiation to come to the earth surface. And as we know that the harmful ultraviolet radiation is very much harmful, as it can cause the cancerous cell to the human being and other living beings. So in 1974, Roland and Molina, they received Nobel Prize in 1995. Actually they said in 1974 that there is some atom, that is chlorine radical, from the chlorofluorocarbons. They are the responsible molecule for the ozone layer depletion. And further it was established, yes, it is the main reason for ozone layer depletion. That's why they were awarded by the Nobel Prize, Nobel prestigious prize. Chlorofluorocarbons, as the name suggests, you can see that chloro means the molecule must have as a component chlorine, fluorine, and carbon. So, for example, if you can see that the mostly used chlorofluorocarbon in the human being is the CFCl3. CFCl3 means carbon, fluorine, and chlorine, that the name suggests here, carbon, fluorine, and chlorine. So, for to be a compound named chlorofluorocarbons, it must contain three elements. One is chloro, chlorine, fluoro means fluorine, and carbons means carbon. Simple as that. And then they are not water soluble, and they do not get washed out with the atmosphere by rain. So we cannot destroy this with the rainwater, as these are not soluble in water. So we have to have reduced these elements, these harmful chemicals, and these are quite unreactive. The CCl bond is easily broken in case of chlorofluorocarbon. There are two types of bond, C fluoro, chloro, carbon fluoro, and carbon chloro. Carbon chloro bond is easily broken, though when the molecule absorbs radiation with a wavelength between 190 and 225 nanometer, and it can react with the ozone molecule, and it can form ClO, the chloro-oxygenated compound. This is also another radical and oxygen molecule. So we can see that now ozone is not there in the atmosphere, it transforms into oxygen. So ozone layer is getting depleted, and that is very much harmful for our living existence. Now, in spite of the fact that the use of chlorofluorocarbon is now banned in over 100 countries, ozone depletion will continue for some time because of the tremendously unreactive nature of chlorofluorocarbon, as these are unreactive. So that's why we cannot destroy this chlorofluorocarbon, that we have already used it, though it is now banned, but that we have already used it, we cannot destroy this. So there are some another example, that's the troposphere. Here various reasons, and all the weather changes occur at this region, and mainly there are some gases, these are greenhouse gases. They maintain the temperature of the earth's surface, and sulfur dioxide is a byproduct of burning of coal and oil. Here you can see sulfur dioxide, with the reaction of water it can form sulfur trioxide, it can form the H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid. And sulfuric acid is an acid we have discussed already in our acid base chapter, that it can split into H plus and SO4 2 minus, as it gives H plus ion in the aqueous solution. So this is the acid, and this acid is the during the rain with the rainwater, sulfur trioxide reacts with water and form the sulfuric acid, and sulfuric acid is also responsible for acid rain, and it destroys all the monuments and the structures and the sculptures, that these are synthesized by the calcium carbonate, that is the marble, and it reacts with the moisture of the air and forms sulfuric acid, and primarily responsible for acid rain. Here you can see that how it reacts with calcium carbonate and can form calcium hydroxide. Now, sulfur, the high acidity in rainfall causes corrosion in building, marble and limestone. This is calcium carbonate, as I already discussed, react with acid and structures made from them in code. And sulfur dioxide can be removed by the ejecting powered limestone, which is converted to calcium oxide. So this is the process. Now The another harmful gas, that is carbon monoxide. As we know that the carbon monoxide is very harmful. If we inhale carbon monoxide, it can collapse all the bodily systems, and the person can die immediately, as it attacks at the active site of the hemoglobin part, and that's why it is very harmful, as the bonding capacity of iron oxygen is lower than the bonding nature bond strength of the carbon iron and carbon monoxide. That's why the reaction happens with the fraction of second, and the human being can collapse within 10 to 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Another, it can produce the carbon monoxide, and this there must have some warning level. And carbon monoxide is colorless and odorless, so we cannot smell it and we cannot see the color. So it's a very good idea to, there must have mainly the there are in coal mines also, there are some equipments used as the carbon monoxide level indicator. Then come to the nitrogen oxide part, what we recognize as the smog and the brownish gas. It has color and hang the large cities like Los Angeles, and primarily nitrogen dioxide, and it can cause various smog and also the acid rain. Then water vapor and carbon dioxide, actually gases in the atmosphere form an insulating blanket that causes the earth's thermal consistency. As they are known as greenhouse gases. Why these are known as greenhouse gases? Because in case of normal agricultural greenhouse, there what's happened there, to in the cold region we can cultivate some plants for the warmer temperature, and like the same way here some gases are there, they act as blanket and capture the heat, and it keeps the temperature system, it maintain the temperature system, and it can cause the it can cause, and higher concentration can cause higher temperature. That's why the temperature of the earth's surface increases and can cause the global warming. So these are the greenhouse gases which are responsible for global warming with high concentration. So here you can see that these are the gases, the carbon dioxide and the water vapor molecule. Here the irradiation, they capture the radiation and it can get back to the earth's surface and the temperature maintained. So these gases are very much important to maintain the temperature, but in balanced way actually, not in higher concentration. So these are the blanketing effect of greenhouse gases. Now we have to know about the green chemistry, why the term green is introduced here. The green chemistry does not mean that, it does not mean that the green means we have to use all the elements in case of chemistry chemical reactions in green color. No, that does not mean that way. It is not nothing like that. Actually green chemistry means we have to use some starting material for the synthesis of various compounds, those are eco-friendly. Why we should study environmental chemistry? So that we can control the pollution, other related problems, global warming, climate change, all these. So green chemistry introduced in this case because that we have become increasingly aware over the last 30 to 40 years, and modern processes are not always compatible with the maintaining sustainable environment, and we have to maintain the sustainable development means that we have to develop our environment and also the ecology and also the economic. At first the meaning of development was like economic development, but now we are concerned about the development of our environment and also our economy. So we have to promote this, and we have to decrease the waste material production, and then otherwise we have to be more worry about the waste disposal. That is the very most important part. As we know that there are various biodegradable and non biodegradable materials. Biodegradable as fine, as we know that the decomposer can decompose all the biodegradable material into the soil, but it's very difficult to destroy all the non biodegradable materials. And so try to generate as little waste as possible and try to make waste that is non toxic, and be energy conscious in designing synthesis. Catalysts that allow the use of safe chemicals should be employed with, when possible, try to use renewable food stocks as raw material, and try to reduce the amount of solvent used, and try to use the environmentally friendly solvents. And also we have to implement in our life the 3 R's, that means reuse, reduce and recycle in our daily life, so that we can maintain the use of our natural resources. As we know, there are some renewable natural resources and non renewable natural resources. Renewable natural resources can be reproduced within one lifespan, but non renewable natural resources cannot be renewed in one lifespan. So we have to be very careful about the use of our renewable and non renewable natural resources. So we have to implement 3 R's in our life. So I think from today's lecture you are now able to understand what is the meaning of green chemistry, what are the related problems in the environment, and how ozone layer is getting depleted, and how the greenhouse gases are responsible for the global warming, the main problem of the earth system at this time. So thank you for listening, and this is the last lecture. We will meet to the regular classes from the next month.